Here we are at student sessions number 5. It's our final one, and I'm going to miss spending time with you all. I hope at some point along the way you found this to be even just a little bit helpful. The point of building these things is because none of us are immune to adversity. We're going to face challenges. At some point along the way, we're going to be stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed. And the more tools that we have, the better we can handle those situations. Maybe you remember session 1, we talked about that idea of name it to tame it. That when we feel those feelings, we can either go into threat or challenge mode. To fight that bear in the woods, we want to believe that we're capable of handling these things. We talked about name it to tame it. That idea that when we let strangers into our kitchen, we act based on our feelings instead of based on what we know is good for us. So, we have to identify what we're feeling to get better control over our body and our brain. Session 2 was about shift and persist, about finding new perspectives and moving through life with a deeper sense of purpose. It's about being buffaloes heading into the storm, because when we walk with the storm, we end up finding ourselves in more pain for longer. We got to face adversity, not run away from it. Session 3 was all about finding support. We know that when we look at that hill alone, it can feel overwhelming and daunting. But even with just one other person next to us, it looks just a little bit less steep. Session 4 was all about giving support. That weird irony that when we give help, we actually scientifically get more in return. It was about going back to heal broken bones, even though it might be inconvenient or challenging for us. So here we are at session 5, and this one's all about focus. Where we put our attention. It's about developing an attitude of gratitude, not just today, but over the course of our life. So, for this final session, we're going to visit with the Character Strong crew one more time. You know them. You love them. Nadine, Malia, Driver, Hayden, Jace, and Robert. And we're going to talk about that dare, that strategy, and the gratitude practice they went through in the previous session. And then we have a few surprises for them to close things out. Let's do it live.
Hi, everyone. So I want to go back to the previous session, giving support, healing broken bones. And like usual, we had a dare, we had strategy, we had a gratitude practice. So I want to spend a moment in reflection about some of those things. So the dare, if you recall from the last one, was about sending that daymaker text, using it as an excuse to connect with someone, and then hopefully teaming up with that person to send another daymaker text together. So I'd love to hear from some of you. Leah, do you have any reflections on the dare?
Hi, so I did the dare for this week, and the person that I reached out to was actually my neighbor who I've known since childhood, since I've known her since she was 3 and I was 7. But after I went to middle school, we kind of drifted apart a little bit after, and I was really thinking about her because currently she's in 8th grade, and her 8th grade ceremony was taken away from her, and she's really worried about high school. So I was able to share a photo with her of us when we were super little that I found on Facebook. And I shared that with her, and I just kind of checked in on her to see how she was doing. And she opened up to me about just a bunch of stuff that she was feeling, very anxious and very uncertain about the future. And we were just kind of both talking about what ways can we control, or what ways, how to respond to the situation. And the person that we both kind of knew, her mom has recently helped me with my mom when she was sick. So we both kind of reached out to her saying, like, showing our gratitude and just expressing the fact that she's been such a huge help to both of us. And yeah, so I think by doing this there, it has really helped me a lot, because not only did it help somebody else, but it also boosted my, strength during this time, knowing that I was able to help someone else.
Beautifully said. As usual, Malia, I love that you looked for this person who you knew was in need, and then you used that to find someone like that common ground piece that you're able to celebrate them, and how relevant right now. I don't know when you're watching this video, but today is Mother's Day. So that's a really relevant daymaker move that you pulled. Hayden, how about you for the dare?
Yeah, so the person that I ended up reaching out to, they haven't gotten back to me yet, but um, I did send out something yesterday where it's like, hey, I'm looking to support others. With it's actually with my Gonzaga group chat that I'm in. I sent it to a bunch of my new friends. and saying like, hey, I'm struggling with this. I was wondering if any of you guys are doing that as well. And so yesterday we had like this huge FaceTime and just like this huge like group text kind of session where we just like were sending love to each other, providing safe space. So I think it really resulted in kind of building up that courage to send it to my friends and do that day maker. I think we all kind of felt a little bit better because we knew like, hey, we're all going through this. And so that was something really special, especially because it's a bunch of people that I've never met yet, but I'll be going to college with next year. So it's this idea of family and that we're all kind of going through the same thing. And the person that we kind of all like brainstormed to send it to or like continue that was within the group chat. So we just kept sending love and it was like this continuous just text stream of love. So yeah, it was beautiful.
That's incredible. A little snowball of selflessness. Brilliant, man. Thank you so much, Hayden. So the dare is always like that like proactive thing. Let's get it done now. Strategy is more that reactive piece. And last session's strategy was rosebud thorn to prevent us from just focusing on the negative. They call it co-rumination. That idea that sometimes when we're like sharing stuff, even negative stuff with someone else, we might feel close to the person, but because we focus so much on the negative, we actually end up feeling worse in our brains. So rosebud thorn was the strategy. Robert, how did it go?
I really liked it. I thought I think you mentioned it right now. The part that I really liked about it was that, just focus on the negative part, because if we just focus on the negative part, I don't think the strategy would be any good, if you understand what I'm saying. And focusing on the positive aspect, I think it shows you that you have a lot to live for right now, right? To appreciate what you got. And so I don't know how to really explain it, but I'll just tell you what my things were. My rose was, so what I'm grateful for right now is, just a strong, healthy life because of the times that we're living in. There's a lot of stories out on the news that, you just feel bad for, right? You feel for them. And what I'm looking for in the future was college, man. Honestly, just with a new chapter in my life, and hopefully I get a normal adventure through that. And my thorn was so my uncle had a stroke over the summer, and so sometimes I feel the guilt. It was in Dallas, so in the summer I was taking care of him, and sometimes I feel the guilt that I'm over here instead of in Dallas.
Yeah, thanks, man. I like I can appreciate the idea that we can hold all those things at once, right? That like there's this gratitude for feeling healthy ourselves. There's this thing that I'm looking forward to. And at the same time, I also have this like other thing that's happening in the background. Right? Like life isn't this one dimensional thing. There's lots happening at once. And it's not that we're not supposed to feel sad or necessarily even guilty about that thing. Like all those feelings are real, but we have to be able to hold things in balance, or else our emotions lean towards what we pay attention to. And we'll talk about that today. Nadine, how about you?
Speaking of things happening in the background, I've got my family active in the kitchen right now, so hopefully that won't be too much. But I did like the rosebud thorn thing. Usually I do this in like classroom settings as like icebreakers or like at summer camps and stuff, but it was cool to kind of bring it into like my more personal life with my friends one-on-one. And there actually, on the bright side, there wasn't a lot of room for like, haha, pun intended, co-rumination, because I don't know, I guess it's just, I try as hard as I can not to focus or dwell on negative things. But when I do, I try to like make myself and the person who I'm talking to aware of it. Like, hey, like, let's be aware that we're like talking about this negative stuff, right? But it was good that there wasn't a lot of co-rumination, but there was a lot of sharing with the rosebud thorn stuff. And I thought that the rosebud thorn thing was a really good opportunity to kind of like see in their life, like have like a little window into their life that's like, oh, right, like we're apart, but like your life, you're still living your life separately, right? And so that was fun. And I also did it with multiple friends. So it was cool to see like little glimpses of their life and what's happening right now. But yeah, my experience went well.
Awesome. Yeah, I love the like scary and overwhelming feeling is just that all seven, however many billion of us on the planet are living our own experience all the time.
Yeah,
And so
it's
all
great.
of them are about Rosebud Thorn, and it's just at scale, so overwhelming. So just to even tune into one or two other people's is a cool new perspective. The gratitude practice from last time was about celebrating community, right? Those communities that we've invested in and who have invested in us. So I'm interested to know that gratitude practice, thinking about who we're grateful for and the communities that have shaped us. How did that go, Driver?
So I have many communities, thankfully, that have really shaped who I am. But one specifically that has been recent is from a summer camp that I went to, and the council that I was in, Council K. We have a Snapchat group, and so something I reflected on them, and I thought about each and individual one and how I feel like they've all made an impact in my life. And then I sent them a message and just said how much I love them and support them and how I'm missing and thinking about them. And we will hopefully be having a little FaceTime call soon. But a memory that I have of that council was during a challenge course. There was one that was a ladder, and you had to have two people as a partner, and then you tried to go up the ladder. I mean, it probably went, I'm going to say, around 40 feet into the air, and you two were helping each other go up while the rest of your council was also being, I guess, your pulley. I don't really know the technical term, but they were strapped in. Anyways, it was an entire group effort, and that event has so many good memories for me because, for one, it was the first time that I really bonded with someone who is now one of my best friends, and two, because it's so interesting because she and I were the two main people at the time doing the event, but the rest of the council, they were still in the background, literally holding us from falling to our death, kind of. And so it really, I feel like that plays really well in life because oftentimes you could be going through this huge thing with either by yourself or with someone else, but you still have this community behind you who is literally holding on to you saying, you can keep going up. I know it's scary, but we have you and you're not going to fall. So that was one memory that I think about a lot when I think about camp. I think about that event a lot, and I feel like that's really helped me when I'm going through difficult things, just to realize like, hey, this is hard and I'm going through this, but I'm so thankful for them because I know that they're always there for me and they're always there to support me.
That's a keeper. That's a touchstone. You got to go back to that one often. Literally life or death. These people have me. And I think a brilliant articulation, Driver, like that whole idea of, sometimes we see the people right next to us, but we forget about this like supporting cast. It's like you watch the movie and at the end, if you stay for all the credits, you're like, oh, there's a lot more people involved in this that I'm always thinking about in the moment. Jace, what are your thoughts on gratitude?
What's going on? Just reflecting on this week's gratitude practice, thinking about a community, whether it be a summer camp or a team that means something to us personally. For me, it was a summer camp. Getting to write down about that summer camp and what that means to me and what that does for me support-wise was really cool. And it was honestly like a good reminder as to, why I have these things and what they do for me. So that was really cool. I got to enjoy that and the eye-opening experience of, being reminded this is my why.